All right, Charlie Vann here with Matt, the Steamroller Frevola. How you doing, man? And a happy New Year.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Well, talk about UFC 257. I mean, first of all, you can kind of almost say this is kind of historic in a way because it is the resurgence of fans at a UFC event. I believe it's going to be around, it's been announced around 20 or 2,000 fans. So lower capacity compared to most UFC cards, but it's exciting that fans get to be there in attendance and you get to be a part of this big card. Just talk about that. And was there a word early on that this could be a possibility when you took this fight with Ottman?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm pumped that there's going to be fans, even if it's limited fans. But any fans is going to be awesome, and they're pretty excited about too. And it's a huge card. It's a Conor McGregor pay-per-view, so it doesn't really get bigger than this, and it's a huge opportunity. And I'm ready to go out there and make the most of it.
Now, did they say at all that there could be people in attendance, or did you get the word that okay, it's going to be maybe as normal as usual as it been in 2020 with no fans?
No, I kind of got the news as everyone else did.
Mhm.
I saw it on like Twitter or whatever, and then my dad and my brother like instantly hit me up, and they're trying to look into going to Abu Dhabi, and I hit up my manager. I said, hit up whoever you got to get. I got to get my dad and my brother in there, and but they're not coming because I guess to fly from the States over there, they have to like quarantine for like 14 days, and then. But I think that the fans are just going to be like Abu Dhabi residents there.
Well, that's still great. I mean, to finally have fans in some capacity return, we've seen it this year, this season in the NFL, briefly in the World Series. So just to have somewhat of that energy. What's the smallest crowd from your early on in your fight days to even your wrestling days that you've competed in front of?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a step in the right direction, but the smallest crowd, as an amateur, I've fought in front of like nobody. Uh, and then even my contender series fight, I was on the season one of the Dana White contender series, and
One thing about going back to that contender series, and I'm not sure how the reaction will be at 257, just with a smaller crowd. But I was talking this on an earlier podcast, how it's almost kind of like golf. It's quiet. You expect this like extra energy, but it's just quiet. It's like just everyone zone. And you think it could be a little bit like that with 257? There's going to be more like a comment, obviously excitement because specters, but there's going to be maybe a little more calming.
I don't know. I think we'll see. I think the energy will be there. I think they'll have all the lights, all the promotion in this new arena going big time, and I think they're gonna make those 2,000 fans feel like a huge arena. So
Well, let's talk about Ottman. And by the way, Steamroller versus Bulldozer. I like the nickname matchup already, right
yeah.
there. It's like a video game matchup. Just talk about just him as opponent. When did this fight for you? When did you find out that he was going to be next? I know 2020 didn't kind of go your way the way as far as matchups go, but this is a big one. He's undefeated, 13-0. And what do you like about this matchup? And what do you think is the piece of the puzzle that you like to solve?
Yeah, I love that he's undefeated. And I watched him when he beat Kama Worthy. As soon as he beat Kama Worthy, he's been on my radar. And once I heard about this pay per view in January with Conor McGregor as a headliner, I knew that we were gonna, for us to get on this card, it was gonna have to be a big name and a hype train. And it excites me. As the stakes get higher, I love to rise to the occasion. And, an undefeated opponent with all these first round finishes, it doesn't get bigger than that. And, he's very good, very heavy hands, great striker. But I don't think he's been tested like I'm going to be testing him. And that I think that's going to be the key.
Do you feel even more intrigued by this matchup than the last two that were supposed to happen between Camacho and Roberts?
Yeah, all those matchups, I love the Kamaja fight. I love the Roberts fight. That Roberts fight, well, I hope to see down the line, as long as he keeps winning. Um, but this is definitely this Ottman fight is huge. Just because he's undefeated. The UFC loves guys that are undefeated. He's got a lot of hype on his name. So I'm looking to come in there and derail another hype train.
Now, one thing that about both your guys' styles is you really mix in the flurries very well. And even going back to, you mentioned your contender fight with Flores you did. Is that something also that stands out? I mean, he's a good flurry puncher. You're a good flurry puncher, although you definitely don't let off the pedal to the metal. Is that something that, you think is going to be the deciding factor who's going to get their combo a little bit quicker?
Yeah, maybe. I think he's good. He's a great stand-up fighter. But I'm prepared for him, so it's gonna be good.
Are you also looking to test this on the ground as well? I know with your strong wrestling background, I mean, you seem to definitely mix it all well together. Is that something where you would like to take it potentially?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of my favorite things about mixed martial arts. What really comes most natural to me, and I think that's where he hasn't been tested. So definitely plan on going in there and using all the weapons, all the skills that I have en route to a devastating finish.
Now, do you like to make predictions at all with your fights, or you just kind of like to go in there, let the chips fall where they may?
Uh, I'm going in there for a finish. I want to go in there. I want to drag him into deep water, and I want to drown him. I want to test him everywhere, and whether it be submission, TKO, or knockout, I'm going in there to finish him. Whether it's first round, second round, third round, that's the goal, to go in there and finish this fight.
Now, with the finish, where not to jump too far ahead, but with the finish, where do you like to see this take you? Are you looking for top 15, maybe even call out near close to top 10, especially with all of his hype that he's had around him? Do you think that will carry definitely that momentum for you?
Yeah, definitely. Finish over Ottman is gonna be huge for my career, and I look to just keep that momentum going. I want to stay busy this year. I'm getting married in September, so I'm
Oh,
trying to get at
congratulations.
least thanks, man. At least 2 fights in before then. At least 3 or 4 fights in for the year. So I just got to keep building on that momentum and third, get out of there with no injuries and get right back to it.
Now, are you getting married in New York? Are you staying in New York for the wedding? Are you going to kind of take it out of New
Yeah,
York?
yeah. We're going out to Montauk, so it'll be nice.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Hopefully by September everything will be normal.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Definitely
I
hope
know,
so.
right? It's crazy.
Well, and I know you're a baseball fan, a Mets fan. I have to ask you, and we'll get back to UFC 257. What do you think about Lindor trade? That's huge. That's a good way to start off 2021.
Yeah, he's the man, right? I mean, I've been hearing a lot about him. My brother is like huge, and he's telling me, I'm seeing, and it'll be good to get the Mets back in the playoffs and back in the winning column.
As a Rangers
And
fan,
after that, it's got to be the Jets.
yeah, yeah. Hey, I mean, what do you think of the draft? I know, Jags are looking about being number one. I mean, who do you think you will possibly end up? It'll be interesting to see. Is Fields going to be up in there, or Devontae Smith?
Yeah, who knows? We'll see. I honestly I like Darnold.
Yeah,
I think Darnold's the man.
I think he is
So we'll
too.
see.
Just give him some more
He really
tools.
is. Exactly. I think that's what we got to do. But it starts at the top. We got to get a good head coach in there, and then it comes down from there.
Well, I think, real quick, I think with Darnold, look at Allen, look at Josh Allen. He got Stephon Diggs, and that was a big equalizer for him. He just needed a couple pieces, of course, 2 years at Cole Beasley. So, with Sam, Smith is right there, top receiver Heisman. I mean, if Jets can take him, that might not be a bad deal for Sam to have Devontae Smith there, have one of the top receivers in the draft.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. That would be real sweet.
Yeah, Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'll say a Cowboys fan. We're trying to find our defensive coordinator. We'll see how that goes. But back to 257. Like I said, such a stacked card. Just want to get a couple of your predictions or thoughts on some of the big fights. Michael Chandler, Dan Hooker. How do you feel about that fight? And how do you think that one's going to go down?
That's gonna be a great fight. I've always loved watching Michael Chandler in Bellator and just watching his savage workouts on like Instagram and stuff. And it'll be cool to see him in the UFC. But he has no easy task ahead of him with Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's a gamer, and I think it's gonna be a tough one for Chandler against Hooker, and I'm gonna have to go with Hooker.
Do you think decision, stoppage, all out war?
I think Hooker hits him with like one of those knees that he always kills those little guys with.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, he sneaks those in really well, and I mean, you're never not in a fight with Hooker. You're never not in a
Yeah, he's a
fight.
gamer.
And one thing I've seen sometimes, and Chandler can come out, and obviously, I mean, he's explosive in that and his wrestling pedigree. But one thing I've noticed with a lot of that is crossover UFC debuts sometimes, and we saw it doesn't always go the way. But I mean, Chandler, he's talented. He's a stud for sure. But Hooker, comes for war. So I'm excited. I'm happy about that matchup.
Oh, it's a great matchup.
And then how about the main event? McGregor, we're going to see Poirier too. But at 155, do you see that being somewhat a more level playing field now? We saw him at 145, both guys cut. But, I mean, Poirier is a big dude at 155, and he's done so well. Do you think that's going to matter at all against Conor, any of the weight advantage? Or how do you see this?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be way different of a fight than the first time they fought. I think Dustin has grown so much as a fighter, but the thing is, so is Conor, and it's a great matchup. It's going to be a great fight, and I'm such a fan of both of these guys, so I'm more like rooting for like an awesome fight. But I got to go with the American. Deep down, I'll be rooting for Dustin just to pull it out. But in the end of the day, I wouldn't put any money on it.
Yeah, it's very hard to bet against Conor, but also, with this style, what I've seen from Poirier, I mean, that Max Holloway fight was incredible. The performance, even the Gaethje fight a couple years ago. And, he's got a good, solid ground game. I mean, he's got a tight guillotine, Darce choke as well. So, I mean, and we've seen that can give Conor some fits in, and we saw, even the Hooker fight, he's great against the cage. And if he can get maybe this against the cage, if you can get a hold of Conor, there's that timing that we see with Conor that's so spectacular. But and it's been a year again since we've seen Conor in the octagon, but it doesn't ever seem like that plays against him having a little time off.
Yeah, it's going to be a great fight, and for me to be fighting, on that same card, it's a dream come true. I can't wait.
Now, will you get to stay at all, or is it strict? Is it a little more stricter? Or are you going to have to?
I hope so.
Yeah.
But, they'll probably make us get us out of there. But that I'm going to try to shower up and just get right into the stands. That'd be cool.
Hey, well, there's fans allowed, so there you go.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that all along with a lot of these cards is because you see it in basketball tournaments all the time where a team in a tournament will wait and watch, maybe with, they can bring some of the fighters as long as, you guys are healthy in that post fight and have you sit and kind of cheer on. But yeah, I mean, this is awesome though. I mean, and it sounds like they're having really good protocols in that. So this is a start. So we'll see what happens if they can bring that back here, maybe in the States at some point.
Yeah, definitely. If there's any way that we could get in there and watch that fight live, I'm going to try to do that.
I know there was something about UFC stands strong about people trying to pirate this card. I mean, it's definitely one of the most anticipated cards. But man, you get to be there. That's so exciting. I'm super pumped. I don't like I said, I don't bet on fights because you just don't know. But I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Now, when did you leave for Yaz Island, and what are you planning to do while you're kind of quarantining? Anything you're watching? I know you have a criminology background. Are you a crime junkie? Do you like to watch some of the crime movies or listen to crime podcasts?
Yeah, a little bit here and there, but they fly us out on Wednesday, and they fly us to Vegas, and then I guess we do a quarantine in Vegas, 48 hours, and then on Friday they fly us to Abu Dhabi, and then as soon as we get to Fight Island, we do another 48-hour
Oh
quarantine,
wow.
and then we're on to our fight week stuff. And I'll be pretty dialed in, pretty focused, and cutting weight and whatnot. And then also we're going to be dealing with the time change.
Oh yeah.
So it's looking uh, like I'll be fighting like probably around like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Abu Dhabi time. So I'll be staying on the U.S. time frame. So I'm going to be kind of sleeping all day and then up all night in Abu Dhabi. So it'd be interesting.
Have you done any kind of early prep for that at all, just to kind of pre-prep for that kind of sleeping and getting up early, or are you just waiting to do it all when you get there?
Yeah, not yet. Just kind of just doing my thing now. But I'm gonna stay on the U.S. time. So
Yeah.
like when I'm in Abu Dhabi, I'll sleep from like 7 a.m. to like 3 p.m.
Mhm.
or something like that. The UFC kind of sent us a recommendation of how to adjust and how to deal with the time. Uh, so I'll kind of look at that and then make a plan and in the end of the day I'll be ready to go.
Well, also I have to ask you about your teammate, Aljamain Sterling. It's official. It's announced he's going to take on Piotr Jan
Yeah.
in March. What do you think about that matchup? And what's the morale right now in your gym?
Oh man, everyone's so pumped for Aljo, and so happy that this fight finally has a date, and Aljo's finally got his title fight. Nobody deserves it more than Aljo. He's the hardest worker in the room, and and he's he's going to be the next champ. I truly believe that. I think he's a tough matchup for Jan. Uh, and they call him the human anaconda for a reason. When Aljo gets on you, like you cannot get him off, and that's what I see. I see him doing is going in there and you know using it. He's got very tricky kicks too, and very tricky stand up. And he's going to keep Jan, on the edge of his kicks, on the end of his punches, and then Jan's going to try to rush in with his boxing, and you rush in on Aljo, you get right into that grappling territory. And Aljamain's wrestling is so high level as well. He'll put him down, and then once it hits the ground, it's a wrap.
Yeah, we really haven't seen anybody yet really do that to Jan, or even really get him to the ground, or see how he handles somebody with strong back control like Sterling. So that's going to be very intriguing. I love the matchup. I'm excited that it's sad that we didn't get to see it in December, but this March card just looks even better. It's just so already stacked. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely building up the hype for the fight a little bit more now too, which is cool.
Well, right before I let you go, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember you were fighting Titan FC and you walked out. I believe it was Kung Fu Fighting. Was that correct?
Yeah.
What are you playing? I'm always intrigued by walkout songs. What do you? Because that's so fun. I don't get why we don't hear that song that often. We get a lot of AC/DC. We get a lot of Rage, which don't get me wrong, awesome choices. But I remember when you walked out, I watched that fight to Kung Fu Fighting. I was like, one, this is cool. Two, why don't we get a lot of this? And three, do you have a couple top contenders that you want to possibly walk out to, and what is on your playlist?
Yeah, that was a good one, and I got to do a walkout in my gi. That was
I
the only
remember
time
that. I was like, this is so cool.
yeah,
Nobody does
yeah.
that. Nobody walks out to. It's such a classic when you think of like what is a martial arts song, and it's a fun
Yeah.
song, obviously classic. But I mean, nobody does that. At
Oh yeah,
least not in
not
the UFC. Or I mean, I've covered LFA and I haven't seen anybody choose that. Maybe
yeah, and I'm
people
definitely
are too
glad like
young.
I got to wear that gi for at least one walkout because after that fight I went Contender Series and I was UFC. So if I didn't walk out in the gi for that one, I wouldn't have had the chance to do it. But for this fight, it's definitely I got a couple options, but I'm leaning towards lowrider.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think
That would
that's
be
going to be
fun.
a pretty cool, fun, chill beat to walk out to. Get me in the mood, just like kind of relaxed and chilling, and fun song. But I'm really excited to walk out and carry that American flag out to that octagon for this one, especially being in Abu Dhabi. That's going to mean a lot to me, being able to represent my country out there and fighting another foreigner who represents Morocco. So I'm excited for that.
Well, Matt, I want to thank you for joining me. Best of luck in this matchup. Also, if anybody watches this, we didn't plan our red, but this is awesome. Where can people find you, and what do you would like to say to your fans and your family?
Yeah, follow me at Steamroller Frevola _ MMA, and follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting the whole Fight Island journey and Fight Week shenanigans and all that. So if you really want the inside look, definitely toss me a follow, and appreciate everyone tuning in and watch me fight. And this is going to be a good one, and I'm ready to go out there and put a great performance on and get my hand raised.
And congrats again, once again, on your upcoming wedding in September and the Mets getting Lindor. And hopefully the draft goes, solid for the Jets as well.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
All right, man.
All
Well,
right,
thank
man.
you very much.
Yeah, thank you.